This is CBX Business News. The business news headlines are brought to you by QMax Wealth Management, making more possible. New opportunities for MSMEs, regional investment and infrastructure funding. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Friday, July 31, 2026. I'm Rashel Moncrieffe. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, GoJEP 2.0 launch opens more government contract opportunities for MSMEs. Also ahead, IDB Invest backs Barbados-based Productive Business Solutions (PBS) with $30 million in regional growth funding. And later, Canada announces a $510 million housing infrastructure fund. Stay with us as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
Okay, I just sent the money. I'll WhatsApp you the tracking number.
Thanks, Daddy. I can't wait to buy that PS5.
Listen to me. Your birthday money is not just for spending. Remember what I told your mom? Remember to open the bank account immediately after collecting the money. Your mom has her ID, TRN, proof of address, proof of income, and your school ID.
I'm not an adult yet, so Mommy will have to open the account with me.
Yes. Anyways, I'm headed back to work, so call me later. I love you guys.
This financial literacy tip is brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, promoting financial inclusion. For more information, visit our BOJ Real Talk playlist on our YouTube channel.
The local news is brought to you by Derrimon Trading, better from the start. The Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments. Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with a major shift in how Jamaican businesses compete for government contracts. The government has unveiled GoJEP 2.0, an upgraded electronic procurement platform designed to make it easier for companies, particularly micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, to bid for billions of dollars in public sector opportunities. The enhanced platform simplifies the bidding process by integrating more seamlessly with other government systems. Finance and the Public Service Minister Favour Williams officially launched the platform on Thursday, describing it as another step in modernizing public procurement and expanding business access to government opportunities.
It is my distinct pleasure to officially launch the next generation of the Government of Jamaica electronic procurement portal, GoJEP 2.0.
Williams says the upgrade removes one of the biggest obstacles that has discouraged businesses from competing for government contracts.
You no longer need to install extra software just to submit a bid. You log in from any ordinary web browser on any device, including your phone. It's better connected. The system now talks to other government systems, so the same information doesn't have to be entered twice, as you heard Jovel said earlier on. It keeps a proper record digitally. Every key decision made during evaluation is captured and tracked automatically instead of living in a paper file or in someone's memory. It cuts duplicate paperwork for government staff, and it collects far better data on how long procurements take, how much competition is there, and how well our small business set-asides are working.
She says the new system also removes long-standing technical barriers.
With GoJEP 2.0, that barrier is gone. You can log in and submit from any modern browser or device with no workarounds. In fact, you can now, again, submit your bid from a phone. Before this upgrade, you needed a computer. And heaven helped you if you were on a Mac, right? So the whole experience is changing too. The interface is going to be more modern now. The workflows carries the entire process through the publication of awards. In the old system, bids were downloaded, and much of the work happened offline. And as a contractor, you had no visibility into where your document was or who had done what.
That was Jamaica's Finance Minister Favour Williams. The government says it is moving closer to transforming St. Thomas into a new economic hub, with plans for a port that will support both industrial activity and cruise tourism. Speaking at the official naming ceremony for the Paul Bogle Highway on Thursday, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness revealed that the government is well advanced in developing a port for the parish.
I know of plans to build a new port for St. Thomas. And I tell you, I speak as if it is outside of the actions of the government. The government is planning to build a port in St. Thomas, and it's not just a plan. We are well advanced in doing that. It will be an aggregate port, but it will also be for cruise shipping, because we are going to bring tourism to this corridor in a significant way.
That was Jamaica's Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. VM Group is preparing to expand its presence in the Caribbean's alternative investment market, with plans to introduce 3 specialized funds targeting real estate development, infrastructure, and business equipment. Group President and Chief Executive Officer Courtney Campbell disclosed that the funds form part of the financial group's next phase of growth, which will also include an expansion into the Eastern Caribbean using VM Wealth Barbados as a regional hub.
VM Investments, we're going to be launching Please Speak with Resworth Burchinson after that, and Dr. Carrion Hepburn Malcolm, please stand, Carrie, new VP in VM Wealth. And Rez, please ensure that all the members know you. So please speak with them about the new Real Estate Development Fund, the Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, and the Specialized Equipment Fund that we plan to launch. And very importantly, we will be expanding our business in the Eastern Caribbean using the VM Wealth Barbados as a regional hub.
That was VM Group President and Chief Executive Officer Courtney Campbell. In other news, Jamaica's cannabis regulator is moving to reassure traditional ganja farmers while warning against misleading claims about the licensing process. The Cannabis Licensing Authority says it remains committed to helping farmers transition into the regulated medical cannabis industry, but is emphasizing that no third party can secure or guarantee a cannabis license on an applicant's behalf. The authority says every application must go through the legal approval process, including the submission of the required forms, supporting documents and fees, followed by regulatory review and, where necessary, site inspections before a final decision is made. The clarification comes amid ongoing efforts to expand participation in Jamaica's legal cannabis industry while protecting applicants from misinformation and ensuring a transparent licensing system. We go now to updates from the Bank of Jamaica on how the currency markets traded today. In Friday's currency trading session, the US dollar is selling for $159.48, the Canadian for $113.58, the pound sterling for $214.58, while the going rate for the euro is $186.13. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities. In Friday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 111 stocks, of which 44 advanced, 47 declined, and 20 traded firm. Leading the winners are G West Corporation Ordinary Shares, MPC Caribbean Clean Energy USD, Knutsford Express Services, and Qantas Advantage Incorporated USD, while leading the losers are Margaritaville Turks, Epley Limited 7.25% preference shares, Derrimon Trading Company, and Access Financial Services. The main index advanced by 3,889.14 points to close at 374,012.30 points. The junior market index declined by 5.81 points to close at 2,976.70 points. It's time for the Market Education feature, brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. In today's Market Education feature, we will be talking about a yield curve. A yield curve is a graph that shows the relationship between the interest rates or yields and the maturity dates of bonds with the same credit quality. It compares the returns investors receive on short-term and long-term bonds. The shape of the yield curve is closely watched because it can provide insight into market expectations for future interest rates and economic activity. Economists and investors often use it as one indicator of whether the economy is expected to expand or slow. The yield curve also serves as a benchmark for pricing other types of borrowing, including mortgages and bank loans, making it an important tool in financial markets. That was the Market Education feature, brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next. The local news is brought to you by Derrimon Trading, better from the start. The Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, Tease the Senses, and Pulse Investments.
It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Don't never, ever, ever wanna calm down. Oh, no, no. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. IDB Invest is injecting fresh capital into one of the Caribbean's largest technology companies in a move expected to accelerate digital transformation across the region. The Multilateral Development Bank has approved financing of up to $30 million for Barbados-based Productive Business Solutions (PBS). The funding will support the company's expansion and increase access to digital services for businesses and public institutions across Latin America and the Caribbean. PBS currently operates in 24 countries, providing information technology, cybersecurity, networking, managed services, and artificial intelligence solutions. The new financing will help the company scale its operations, strengthen working capital, and invest in future growth initiatives. IDB Invest says expanding access to digital technologies is essential to improving productivity and competitiveness, adding that the investment is expected to help more organizations modernize operations, create jobs, and participate in the digital economy. PBS Group is publicly listed on both the Jamaica and Barbados stock exchanges, making the financing a significant vote of confidence in a Caribbean company with regional ambitions. In other news, international development partners are supporting climate resilience and infrastructure projects in St. Kitts and Nevis through millions of US dollars in financing. Minister of Sustainable Development, Environment and Climate Action, Dr. Joyelle Clark, says the investments, secured through partnerships with several international agencies, are advancing the country's sustainable island state agenda. Addressing Parliament on Thursday, Clark says the government pursued international financing because the country's sustainability goals require resources beyond what the National Treasury can provide.
My ministries accepted the challenge of this mandate of transformative sustainability, fully understanding the level of financing that would be needed to advance certain systems and efforts. Financing that could not in any way be afforded by the Treasury that was left empty. Instead, we needed to be spirited, we needed to be disciplined, and we needed to be strategic. And we did what was needed. We raised millions in development financing, the highest seen in years.
Clark detailed millions of US dollars in financing secured through partnerships with international agencies.
So when we speak of US $300,000 delivered to coastal communities and groups across St. Kitts and Nevis, specific to agriculture and fisheries, delivered through the partnership with the Global Center for Climate Mobility for community climate adaptation, of which our Prime Minister is our regional champion. This is leadership, legacy, and fundraising. When we speak of US $5 million secured to support sustainable land management through our partnership with the Food and Agricultural Organization, and this specifically to address persons living in guts, in St. Paul's in particular, and across the Federation, we are talking about strategic policy and fundraising to match. Our US $50 million that has been secured to advance our Transwater project towards manifesting climate resilient water sector, thanks to our submission by the Green Climate Fund, of which the Department of Public Sector Investment is our national focal point.
That was St. Kitts and Nevis Minister of Sustainable Development, Environment and Climate Action, Dr. Joyelle Clark. Republic Financial Holdings Limited, RFHL, reported a $1.52 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollar profit attributable to equity holders for the 9 months ended June 30, 2026, as the regional banking group delivered steady earnings growth despite a challenging global economic environment. The result represents an increase of $24 million or 1.6% over the corresponding period last year. The group's financial position also strengthened during the reporting period, with total assets rising to 134.6 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars, and loans and advances increasing to 77.4 billion, providing a solid foundation for future growth. RFHL says it remained resilient despite heightened global trade tensions, inflationary pressures, and uneven economic activity across its operating markets, while continuing to focus on disciplined risk management and maintaining strong capital and liquidity positions. The group also expanded digital customer onboarding across most of its subsidiaries as part of its ongoing investment in technology to improve customer service and operational efficiency. The board declared an unchanged quarterly interim dividend of $1 per share payable on August 28 to shareholders on record as of August 14. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 22 securities, of which 5 advanced, 8 declined, and 9 traded firm. Today's winners are JMMB Group, National Enterprises, NCB Financial Group, and Trinidad Cement, while leading the losers are Massey Holdings, First Citizens Group Financial Holdings, Grace Kennedy Limited, and Republic Financial Holdings. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The All-TNT Index declined by 2.13 points to close at 1,435.95. The Composite Index advanced by 1.05 points to close at 1,008.69. The Cross-Listed Index advanced by 0.64 points to close at 77.28, and the SME Index remained at 76.60. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next.
Mikey, is what sweet you saw?
Yeah, dear babes. Where's the Cathy? Me and you go party tonight.
Party? You secure your future yet? Careless.
Did you know that over time the stock market has provided a reliably high return on investments? Be sure to contact a licensed stockbroker for more information on this exciting investment opportunity.
Taking care of business, Mikey?
Yeah, Cathy. I'm securing my future. Want to come look over my stock portfolio?
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
Welcome back. In international news, the Canadian and Alberta governments have announced a new Canada-Alberta Housing Infrastructure Fund agreement that will see the federal government invest more than 510 million Canadian dollars over the next 8 years to help municipalities build the infrastructure needed to support faster housing development. Speaking at a press briefing on Wednesday, Prime Minister Mark Carney says the funding will finance essential water infrastructure that communities need to unlock new residential construction across the province.
And we need that because Albertans and Canadians can't afford the delays, because there were decades where across the country we didn't build enough housing. And so the average Canadian household spends more than half their income on mortgage payments. And that's only going to change if we move big and fast on community infrastructure. And that's why today the Premier and I are proud to announce the new Canada-Alberta Housing Infrastructure Fund Agreement. What does it mean? It means over the next 8 years, the Canadian government will invest more than $510 million through the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund to help communities across Alberta build and, when necessary, upgrade essential drinking water, wastewater, stormwater, solid waste infrastructure.
He says the agreement is expected to benefit rapidly growing communities such as Red Deer, where expanding infrastructure is needed to accommodate population growth. Alberta will contribute at least 1/3 of eligible project costs for municipal-led projects, leveraging additional provincial investment alongside the federal commitment.
Today's announcement is going to help deliver the infrastructure that Red Deer needs to support that growth. Because on top of that $510 million of federal investment, Alberta will contribute at least 1/3 of the eligible costs for projects led by municipal governments across this province. Now, that's not all. The Premier and I are also working to complete a new Alberta-Canada agreement through Build Canada Homes to scale up affordable home building. And through the Build Community Strong Fund, which is a new fund, we'll build the broader infrastructure that growing communities across Alberta need, so roads, public transit, community centres, hospitals, clinics.
That was Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney. The Chicago Business Barometer increased to 57.6 in July 2026, up from 56.7 in June, marking its third consecutive month in expansion territory and beating market expectations of 56. The improvement was largely driven by a surge in new orders, which reached their highest level since January 2022. However, supplier deliveries softened while order backlogs slipped back into contraction after spending the previous 2 months above the neutral 50 threshold. The employment index remained in contraction for a 5th straight month, dropping to its weakest reading since March. Production also moderated but continued to signal expansion. Meanwhile, the prices paid index was broadly unchanged, with businesses still pointing to geopolitical uncertainty and elevated energy costs, although respondents noted continued signs of easing price pressures. And finally, Chile's copper production increased 5.1% year-over-year to 447,294 metric tons in June 2026, recovering from a 12.9% decline recorded in May. The rebound was primarily driven by stronger ore processing at the country's leading mining operations. As the world's largest copper producer, Chile's improved output helped alleviate concerns over a tightening global copper supply. In line with the recovery, the country's mining production index advanced 6% from a year earlier, supported by a 4.6% increase in metallic mining, a 14.5% jump in non-metallic mining, and a 4.3% rise in energy resources production. And that's it for the international segment of the newscast. The news recap is coming up on the other side of the break.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-9235-111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
And now to recap our top stories. In the local news, GoJEP 2.0 launch opens more government contract opportunities for MSMEs. Regionally, IDB Invest backs PBS with $30 million in regional growth funding. And internationally, Canada announces a $510 million housing infrastructure fund. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rashel Moncrieffe. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.